6. With Mike Boddicker, and now it's time to go off to be a professional ball player. So the second go-around getting drafted, how'd that go?
It was good. I was shocked because I saw a lot of Cincinnati Red Scouts, a lot of Montreal Expo Scouts, yet Pittsburgh, never saw a Baltimore Scout. And I guess I played up in Alaska too, by the way.
Right.
It was more baseball.
Summer league,
summer league. So I guess an Oriole scout saw me up there. And a guy by the name of Joe Bowman. And he drafted me, which was a shock, in the 8th round. And
so do you ever talk to your father-in-law about the fact that you were a 6th round draft choice the first time and an 8th round draft choice the second time?
I got more money.
There you go. There you go.
So it panned out, and basically I went from in college pitching, playing third, to pitching, playing second because they got a new third baseman, young kid, supposed to be a stud, and then I went from pitching to DHing because they didn't want me getting hurt at second because I was pitching too well.
Right.
And so basically I knew I was going to pitch once I left college. So got drafted by Baltimore. They sent me to Bluefield, West Virginia. Got there, realized that every pitcher there was better than me, had better stuff.
Right.
And I remember the guy that picked me up, take me to the ballpark, said, "Son, you better have some kind of A game," he says, "because you ain't going to make it with these kids we got here." And at the time, Cal Ripken Jr. was a pitcher.
Right.
And he was awesome. God, he had great stuff. But I quickly found out that they didn't. There's two places you have to have it, Danny. There's a lot of talent out there.
Right.
Tons of talent. You can just there's tons of talent in the Royals right now.
Right.
But you have to have it in your head and in your heart. Those are the two places. And if you don't have it there, you ain't going to make it. Or you're not going to be successful. And I found out that there's a lot of kids that didn't have it there. I was a closer. They made me a closer.
But a closer then meant that didn't mean you were going to just pitch the 9th inning.
Oh, yeah. That's what it meant.
Really?
I was the closer. I pitched the 9th.
It's pretty early for
And
that.
these high school kids had no idea what a good breaking ball looked like. And I went a month there and then got bumped to Double-A because they had a bunch of rainouts and they needed a starting pitcher.
So did you skip long A?
I skipped. I never hit A. No.
Oh, so you just did...
I went rookie ball for a month, Double-A, and then the last 2 weeks of the season I was in Triple-A. So 3 months I was in Triple-A.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what were the stops? Bluefield, then?
Bluefield, Charlotte, and Rochester. So I thought, oh, God, I'm going to be on Triple-A. Frank Robinson was my manager. And I won, pitched well, the game I got to pitch, and it was the...
What was it like? Frank doesn't have much of a reputation for being any fun.
I got some great stories, but I probably can't tell them on air.
Podcast.
Probably could. Yeah. I can tell the one. I guess I could. So anyway, it's Frank Robinson.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And so I'm sitting there going, gosh, I'm this kid out of a little town in Iowa. And Frank Robinson's my manager. And so I go to a store and buy a couple baseballs. I said, I got to get his autograph, So we're there, and I knocked on his door in the office, and I said, Mr. Robinson, I says, I've always been a huge fan. I said, is there any possible way that I could get a couple autographs on these baseballs, or an autograph on these baseballs? And he looked at me, he said, "Get out of here, rookie. I don't sign shit for you." And I froze. And so I walked out, went back to the locker. He comes out. He was trying to screw with me.
Right.
And so I'm sitting in the locker, and he goes, "Hey, everybody in the clubhouse, listen up. A rookie here's got an attitude. He can't take it." And he's trying to embarrass me, right?
Right.
He says, "Come over here and give me those balls. I'll sign them." I said, "I don't want your flipping autograph anyway." And I threw the baseballs into the locker while the whole clubhouse just busted out laughing. It embarrassed Frank, and he went back into his office. That's probably why I didn't make a Triple-A next year. But, you don't do that. I had the same fight with him when he was managing me in Baltimore. He was trying to make a point. He got on me in front of all these young pitchers and on something he knew that I screwed up. I was trying to bounce a breaking ball and left it shin high, and the guy took me deep, and he was just airing me out. up and down the dugout. You know better than that. You got to bounce that ball. Yeah. And I got him off the side. I said, listen, if you're trying to make a point, you come tell me first. Don't do that to me. And later on in years, Frank and I became good friends.
Oh.
So
Do you think he was he
was a cantankerous old thing.
He was, but do you think he was?
So was Bob Feller.
Do you think he was a good manager?
No,
because he doesn't have that reputation.
No, I don't think he was a great manager. No,
right?
No.
So you get a little taste of AAA, but then maybe Frank doesn't want you for whatever reason.
No,
Double-A the next year?
It's just that's how Baltimore worked their guys. I mean, I went to Double-A, spent another half a year there, and then got up to AAA.
Okay.
I made the All-Star team in Double-A and then moved up AAA. Then I was in AAA forever. I was going to run for mayor one more year. One more year, then I was running for mayor of Rochester, New York.
How discouraging was that eventually?
You're
pitching well. I imagine
my
year.
stats were great. But you also have to look in the mirror. Okay, you've got Jim Palmer, Cy Young. Steve Stone, Cy Young. Mike Flanagan, Cy Young. Scott McGregor, 20-game winner. They're going to bump one of those.
Relief.
They're going to bump one of those guys for me. And Earl loved his old pitchers, relief pitchers especially.
And we're talking about starters.
Don Stanhouse, Ross Grimsley, those kind of guys, And
the starters are pitching.
They're pitching 8 to 9 innings every
7 or 8 at least, right? And then you got
most of the time they're going at least 8,
right? And
I had this conversation with Earl right before he passed away, and he apologized. I should have had you up. Blah, blah. I said, Earl, no, you don't have to apologize to me. You did the right thing. You really did. I mean, there was no room for me,
right?
But I remember leaving spring training.
So how many years did you end up being in Rochester? 4 full?
4 plus, yeah. So I remember leaving spring training that last year that he was there. And he called me and he said, I need you to go back and put up some more numbers. I said, I can't put up any more numbers, Earl. And he goes, well, you need to go put up more numbers. And I said, listen, I'm going to be a 6-year free agent. And somebody's going to take me. And when I do, and I get a chance to pitch against you, I'm going to stick it right up your ass. And I walked out. And he started laughing. He goes, I'll see you this year.
Wow.
That's what he wanted to see. He wanted to see how you could handle stuff.
Right.
And once you did that, I remember the first year there, do you have any bonuses you got to hit? And towards the end of the year,
right.
We'll make sure you get them.
Right.
Every year. What do you need for bonuses to get your bonuses? I'll make sure you get them. That's the kind of guy Earl was. He was cantankerous, and he was hilarious, but smart, always 3 innings ahead of everybody. It was fun.
You came up in an absolute blaze of glory. You pitched well right away, and you pitched in the postseason, and you pitched great in the postseason. You were the ALCS Most Valuable Player.
That was Gary Renick. He should have been the MVP.
Well, they picked you.
I know. That's stupid. They shouldn't have.
And then, how about this World Series game? You pitched a complete game, 3-hit win in the game 2, and the final 3 batters are Joe Morgan, Pete Rose, and Mike Schmidt.
Yep.
And you struck Schmidt out.
High fast
closed the game.
Yep.
It's somewhat. Mike was a low ball hitter, wasn't he?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But he'd seen enough curveballs. It started at that same level,
right.
And he was attacking that curveball. He knew he was going to get a curveball, and I ran a high fastball, and he started and couldn't stop. He was done.
What was that feeling? I mean, you'd worked so hard to get to the major leagues, and you have success, and here you are at the biggest stage you can be, and you do that. You go out and pitch a 3-hit shutout. What was the feeling when that fastball?
Well, don't tell Petro, because I threw 58 pitches in the playoff game, and then another 130 or whatever in the World Series. He can't handle that beyond 100 pitches. So
right.
It went so fast. It was funny because.
Do you remember what the feeling was like when he swung and missed at that pitch? Do you have it in your mind's eye?
Yeah, because I've seen it so many times.
Oh, okay,
people
right.
are, hey,
right.
you look at this.
Right.
I put it on, send it on my phone, stuff like that. Showing me throwing the fastball to Schmidt, and then I come get the ball from Dempsey, and the bottom line was I was blessed to have McGregor, Flanagan, Palmer sitting there guiding me the whole year. I'm throwing behind Scott McGregor. Now, you could catch Scotty with a wet Kleenex. And he's abusing great major league hitters.
Right.
So I knew if I just kind of followed his footsteps, traced what he was doing.
So you actually threw a little bit. Actually, he made your stuff probably look a little bit better even.
Not a whole lot. But it was funny because those guys, I remember Palmer telling me, he says, okay, Earl had 3x5 cards.
Right.
And you looked at him, okay, Ted Simmons can still hit a fastball. Carl Yastrzemski, don't throw him a fastball.
Right.
Just a few words. That was it, and that was all. And it said, oh, this guy, good breaking ball hitter. And Palmer comes to me and goes, see that card right there? Yeah. He says, he never seen your breaking ball. Make sure that he can hit your breaking ball. Otherwise, you're just going to waste one of your best pitches.
Right.
So, and I went out. I threw the guy. I can't remember who it was. Cecil Cooper.
Okay. Very good hitter.
Very good breaking ball hitter.
Probably don't remember.
He couldn't hit my breaking ball. Of all things, come on, I remember Alvin Davis in Seattle,
right,
crushing the ball, just going crazy. And I walked him a couple times, and McGregor come over. He goes, "You don't have to walk him. Just throw him high fastballs up and away. He's reacting to your fastball completely different." Next time up, threw him a high and away fastball, fly out to left. Next time up, high and away fastball, fly out to left. And I went, holy crap. That's what I got. I was blessed with that.
Right.
So you look at the playoff game. I'm number 2 in the order. Max first, McGregor. He loses to the White Sox. Pitches a great game. I can't remember what he lost. It was like 1-0, 2-1. 2-1, I think it was.
Right.
Pitched a great game. And so I went out and followed his footsteps. I did exactly kind of what he did.
Right.
He loses to the Phillies, 2-1. I'm going to go out and follow Mac, man. I'm going to do what he does, So I'm blessed with that.
Right.
And I had the command to do it, so,
How would you describe? How quickly did you get married when you became a professional?
This was my first full year in AAA.
Right.
We had no money. I was fishing Lake Ontario so we could eat. I was making $500 a month
in AAA.
Yes.
Wow.
$500 a month. My wife was working at a restaurant waitressing.
So she obviously lived in Rochester.
Uh-huh.
How long was it before you had kids?
83. The year we won the World Series. I had our first son, Corey.
Good plan.
I don't know if it was a plan. I was still in AAA I didn't start the year in 83 with the team.
I know.
Palmer had some kind of neck issue or something where he was, I don't know. He was always, there was something going on. And so I got called up. And I remember
was his
Hank.
nickname Princess or something like that?
Cakes.
Cakes. Right.
That's what we call him. But I remember Hank Peters coming up to me after I got called up. He goes, don't give up your Rochester apartment. He says, as soon as Palmer's off, you're going back down. Hank Peters was always honest with me.
Right.
And I remember my dad, when I was little, one of the things I remember, he says, as long as a guy's honest with you, he's a good guy.
Right.
Whether you like it or not, as long as he's honest with you. And so Hank was always honest with me. And I appreciated that. Even though sometimes I didn't like it, I appreciate it.
You had great success in Baltimore. Maybe not. The last couple of years didn't go as well as most of the rest of your career, actually. But you got traded. And the quote in the story I'm looking at here says, "Saddest day of my life." You cried going away from the ballpark.
I did. When I left Memorial Stadium, I cried.
What was it about? That was your baseball family, your whole professional
life?
Is that what it was? 8
years plus the minor leagues. I mean, I grew up with all these people. They were family. And you know that from following the baseball or interviewing. Guys are with each other from February all the way through October.
And guys stayed on the same team.
Yes, we stayed on the same team. All the guys were together all the time. So, yeah, it was like leaving your family.
But you had great success in Boston, led them to the postseason 2 out of 3 years, got to live in that incredible town of Framingham.
I was just in Framingham this winter. We went out to visit friends.
I know exactly where Mike lives. I used to run by there, as a matter of fact, and I didn't know it
56 Carter Drive.
I didn't know it till later.
Yeah.
Actually, I know the house right up the slope there. So when you described it, I knew exactly what it was. But I think from talking to you, you didn't really love being there?